Gospel narratives have been questioned and criticized by many authors through many different media. In some of my own videos, I've shown contradictions between individual Gospels, historical inaccuracies, and embellishments made to give the illusion of fulfilled prophecy. But there is still more to be covered, which consequently means that less and less of the Gospel narratives is likely to be true. For the next few episodes of Do You Know Your Bible, we will look at a few ways in which the Gospel authors borrowed from other texts to construct some of their narratives. In the Gospels, Jesus raises 3 people from the dead on separate occasions. In the Synoptics, he raises the daughter of a man named Jairus. In Luke, he raises a widow's son. And in John, he famously raises Lazarus back to life. However, these stories appear to be based heavily on resurrection accounts found in the books of 1st and 2nd Kings. These miracles of Jesus are written under heavy influence from the miracles of the Jewish prophets Elijah and Elisha. Luke 7:11-15 tells the tale of Jesus going through the town of Nain, where as he approaches the town gate, he encounters a dead body being carried out. The body is that of a widow's son. Feeling compassion for the woman, Jesus goes to the coffin, touches it, and commands the young man to arise. The widow's son then sits up, speaks, and Jesus gave him to his mother, as it reads. In 1 Kings 17:8-23, we find the story of Elijah traveling through a town, where he meets a widow at the town gate. Going to her home, he heals her dead son by touching him and commanding the boy to arise. The widow's son then returns to life, and Elijah gave him to his mother, as it reads. Both in Luke and 1 Kings, we have a widow found near the town gate, we have her son raised from the dead, and the resurrection is performed by touching the son and calling out to him. Beyond the surface level, there are also numerous similarities of language between the Greek Septuagint version of 1 Kings and the Greek of Luke's Gospel. We find the phrase, "and it came to pass," beginning both stories. The Greek for the town gate is also strikingly similar in the passages. And as already pointed out, both stories end with the phrase, "and he gave him to his mother," which is just as identical in the Greek as it is in the English. These similarities in language are important because the Septuagint has long been thought the version of the Old Testament that was read most, if not exclusively, by the New Testament authors, as they quote from it extensively in their writings. Thus Luke appears to have used more than just similar characters, situations, and actions. He even borrowed entire Greek phrases. In Mark 5:22-42, we are told of a man named Jairus who falls at Jesus' feet, asking for his daughter to be healed of sickness. Jesus goes with the man to his home, continuing even after a messenger informs them both that the daughter has died. When Jesus enters the home, he clears out the crowd that is gathered in order to have privacy, and then he takes the girl by the hand and commands her to rise up, which she does. 2 Kings 4:25-35 tells the tale of a Shunammite woman who falls at the feet of Elisha, asking for her son to be healed. Elisha goes with the woman to her home, continuing even after they are informed that the son has not awakened. When Elisha arrives, he shuts the door to have privacy, and then lays on the boy, raising him back to life. Both in Mark and Kings, the grieved falls at the feet of the man of God. They continue on to the home even after learning the child is certainly dead, and then the child is resurrected by physical contact. Yet there is more beyond the surface level here, too. The name Jairus is actually a hint at the point of the narrative. In Greek, Jairus is Iros, which is from the Hebrew word Yair, meaning enlighten or awaken. Jesus says to the girl, "awaken," in Greek, and the past tense of this word is used in the Septuagint version of 2 Kings 4:31, when Elisha is informed that the boy has not yet awakened. Thus the author of Mark seems to have also taken elements from the book of Kings to construct his story of Jesus raising Jairus' daughter from the dead. But perhaps the most well-known of Jesus' resurrection miracles is the raising of Lazarus, as found in John 11:1-43. In the story, we read of a man named Lazarus from the city of Bethany, brother to Mary and Martha. After being dead for 4 days, Lazarus is raised to life by Jesus, who commands him to come forth in a loud voice. John's narrative bears some similarity to the Shunammite woman and her son in 2 Kings. A woman beseeches a man of God to save the life of her loved one. Mary falls at Jesus' feet in John 11:32, and they go to Lazarus even though he has already died. What may be more surprising, though, is that the story of Lazarus also has similarities with the story told of Osiris in the pyramid texts. According to the Egyptian myth, Osiris dies, is mourned by his 2 sisters Isis and Nephthys, and he's buried at the necropolis known as the House of Anu. 4 days later, Osiris is resurrected by Horus, who commands him to come forth in a loud voice. As in John's Gospel, we have two sisters who mourn the loss of their brother. We have the deceased raised to life after being in the grave for 4 days, and we have a resurrection that is performed by calling out for the dead to come forth in a loud voice. But why would John's Gospel have borrowed from ancient Egyptian myths? The author may not have known. A more primitive form of the Lazarus story seems to exist in the non-canonical work known as Secret Mark. No manuscripts of Secret Mark survive, but quotations of it are allegedly preserved in a letter written by Clement of Alexandria. The letter has been called a fraud before, but today there is almost unanimous agreement among Clementine scholars that the letter is authentic. If Secret Mark originated in Alexandria, where Clement lived and claimed to have discovered the text, then this might explain the Egyptian influence in the Lazarus story, which was later then picked up by John's Gospel. Each of the different resurrection miracles performed by Jesus has been crafted from prior sources. But this is certainly not all. In the next episode, we'll look at more of the New Testament that corresponds to stories found in older texts.